every day.
So it should be live. All right, so I see people coming in. So, hey, baby girl. And a happy Saturday to you too. And hey, Tom. And for the people that are here, can y'all leave it in the comment section? Where are you commenting in from? What state, country, drop a flag. All right, Tom from the Netherlands. Nice. And what is the weather like right now in the Netherlands, Tom? Nice, nice. I see other people coming in. So shout outs to Punk Rock Girl from Missouri. Nice, nice. And NB Empire from Mississippi. Okay. All right, shout outs global. And right now it's rainy in the Netherlands. Okay. Alrighty, so it looks like more people are coming in. So what we are going to be talking about today, so yeah, so yeah, when you're in the chat, like you don't see like the original thumbnail. So today's live, and this is the third live. So there was what, two last week or maybe the week before. Right. So this is like another pop-up live. So again, ensure that you are subscribed to the channel and just stay tuned for when the other pop-up live sessions. So I did a previous live on a Tuesday. There was one on a Wednesday, and then today's the first Saturday pop-up live. So we're gonna talk about today, falling in love, especially again for people that were in intimate relationships with narcissists, right? So did you fall in love with a demon? And we're gonna talk about the truth about narcissistic seduction. So there was a poll, a little poll that was up on the live chat before the live started, which looks like a good chunk of the people that are here experience this firsthand. It's not you're not here because you had a family member or a friend that dated a narcissist. It looks like you were the direct target here. So know that today we're going to talk about how narcissists trap you to how narcissists mirror you to trap your soul. We're going to talk about why did we get caught up in this madness. We're going to get into where did these soul ties come from. So we're going to talk about trauma bonds or spiritual contracts and these psychic phenomena that again got us caught up in these entanglements. And finally, we're also going to talk about how to break free from these relationships so that you can get into more healthier and stable relationships in the future. Okay. So Keish Richards writes that it was 25 years of friendship with it's a friendship narc, right? With a demonica. That's a cool one. So yeah, we're gonna get into all of that today. So if you had any questions that you had in mind, just chime in with them as we go through today's live. So it's after 10 a.m. EST, and again, people are coming in from different time zones, but we're normally here for like 2 hours, 2.5, and we just talk. So if you missed the previous two lives, know that they are recorded on YouTube. So just check the little lives tab, and then you could rewatch or watch the previous lives if you didn't catch those. And I do these lives just to kind of bridge the gap where I may not maybe have a video on a topic that you want to know more about. So besides that, booking a session so that we can do a one-on-one clarity call, these lives are that way for you to ask maybe questions that are popping up, or maybe something I talked about in a video that wasn't super clear. We can talk about that here. Let's see. Happy Sky, right? Are narcissists demons, or do they have demons in them? It's technically one in the same. They're demon possessed. You're dealing with a demon. I think that's more so a matter of semantics. Just know that you are dealing with a demon. They're occupied by evil spirits. They are operated by evil spirits. And Daniel's writes, kindly make longer videos. The short ones are not enough. Um, you'd be surprised that at this time, there are over like 800 videos on the YouTube channel, and the analytics actually state that on average, again, some people are above average, maybe some people are below, right? But on average, most people watch about 5 or 6 minutes of the videos on the channel on average. Again, some people could be higher or less. But yeah, the reason why I haven't been doing like a lot of super long recordings as I used to before is that people don't really watch them. So I may do longer videos every now and then, but what I'll probably do is I'll just put all of that stuff, I'll just reserve that for the Ascension Vault. Because the numbers tell another story that the super long videos are not getting watched as, you know, because again, average 5, 6, or maybe 7 minutes tops on average for each video. Because I've checked the numbers. But some of the older videos are the longer ones where I was recording like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. But most of the newer videos you'll see, I kind of keep it below 15 minutes because again, the analytics are saying people only watch 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes worth of the videos. Um, okay, global rights, they're the friend of demons. That's one way to put it. And good morning, Carolyn. Thank you for checking in. So again, today, we're going to be talking about, just your experience in the narcissistic entanglement, especially for those that dated a narcissist. So we're going to get into trauma bonds, soul ties, and eventually how to break these soul ties so that we don't get caught up in these entanglements anymore. Because what we really are here to do is we're here to live gracefully with other people, and you cannot live gracefully with a pathological narcissist. Unfortunate reality. And shout outs to Tila. Thank you for stepping in. Um, let's see. Happy Sky writes, do I always get bullied because I have the Holy Spirit and they can see it? So, um, that may be a part of the bullying. So know that when it comes to a bully, or I'm assuming here you're talking about an adult bully or a narcissist, right? Narcissists feed on supply, meaning they need supply for their ego. Their ego needs gratification, whether it's positive supply or negative supply. So when you encounter a bully, then the bully needs attention, they need fuel, they need supply. So they could be bullying you because you're bored. It could just be that they're bored and they need somebody to pick on. Who knows why, bully is bullying someone. And then other times it could be that they're bullying you because they don't like your confidence or they don't like how you are. Maybe they like how you dress, but they want to pick on you. So it really depends why, a bully bullies. But a bully, if you're dealing with a bully, then you're dealing with an intimidating spirit. And what you need to do if you're dealing with a bully or a bullying personality is you'll need to convey to that person, whether verbally or non verbally, that they shouldn't be messing with you. And then normally what you will see is that the bully just goes off and tries to bully somebody else. But yeah, if you're dealing with a bully, is there's a lot of people are provoking types of people, and they have a lot of inner tension built up inside of them, and they don't know proper places to display this, so it comes out as bullying. But yeah, they could be bullying you because you have the Holy Spirit, or they could just be bullying you because you're bored. It varies. Let's see. Baby girl writes, How does one discern between a genuinely generous and kind person versus a love bomber? Very good question, right? How do you tell the difference between a genuine, authentic person versus a narcissistic, manipulative, con artist? So know that if you're dealing with a con artist, and narcissists are con artists, right? In a love bomb, they're gonna come on very hot and heavy. So that's really the first red flag, because people that are genuinely interested in you, I'm sure they could be excited, but they're not trying to overwhelm you, right? So how can you know when somebody is trying to again, it's genuine attention versus a love bomb is the love bomber is going to try to flatter you. So you have to be cognizant of knowing the distinction between flattery and just true, genuine compliments. Because the person that is trying to flatter you is trying to fatten you up, right? Because you're the turkey that is headed for Thanksgiving dinner. So what you will see is, again, there are genuine compliments, and genuine compliments won't feel sticky, it won't feel icky. But if somebody's trying to flatter you, it's gonna feel off. Something again is gonna feel off. Again, they're coming on too strong. And that's how you can quickly tell between a love bomber and somebody that is actually authentic and genuine. The love bomber again has something to get from you, right? That is why they are coming on hot and heavy, because it's a love bomb. It's deception. There's no love there. So what it is that they're trying to charm and disarm you so that they can get something from you, some kind of resource. But if somebody's giving you a compliment, they give you a compliment and they're off, off about their business. But again, the love bomber has something to get. They're there to get something from you. And that is why they're buttering you up. Yeah, so it looks like a couple of people are dealing with the female narcissist. Yep. So toxicity is all around, and whenever you're dealing with a narcissistic, whenever you're dealing with a narcissistic individual, then just know that you are dealing with a user. So whether this is a coworker, somebody at work, whether it was a friendship, whether it was a an intimate relationship, narcissists come to take from you. They come to take resources. So they come to take your time, your energy, your attention, your money. A lot of narcissists are money hungry, right? They want your resources. If you have a car, they want you to be driving them around. So narcissists come for your resources. They come to drain you. That is what you have to look out for. Yeah, bullies, bullies want what you have. So um yes, yeah, if you're getting bullied, again, bullying happens, but then you'd have to really just kind of figure out the environment that you are in, because there are things that you can do to stop people from bullying you. So yeah, there's discernment that has to be added there, but you shouldn't be getting bullied everywhere you go. Because sometimes, a lot of times, what it more so is you need to learn or understand how to stand your ground so that people do not bully you. And a lot of people are bullies, but again, bullies know who to target. So, make yourself not a good target for a bully. All right. All right. Shout outs to Antonio. And I appreciate that you appreciate the content. And for everybody else that's here, I'm happy that the videos are helping. Narcissistic abuse is something that I went through. Most of us here grew up in or around these dysfunctional families, right? Where we eventually ended up in some kind of, again, intimate relationship, friendship with a toxic person. And we're all here healing. And we're at different times or different points in our healing journey. But that's why we're all here. Let me bring, where's that slide? Yep, yes, a global right. Bullies work with force. Very, very accurate. So when we're talking about the Hawkins scale, right, at the bottom of the consciousness ladder, which is where you find narcissists, down there in the 3D world is where you'll find people ruling by force. And that is why you don't want to be down in those dimensions, because you're either going to need to either bully someone or you're going to end up getting bullied, right? But we'll get into how to break free and reclaim our power, a little bit later on in today's live session. But know that as you heal, and as you have better boundaries, better spiritual boundaries, emotional boundaries, financial boundaries, etc., you'll have less bullies around you. Or again, if they're around you, they're gonna find somebody else to bully. Yep. So yeah, shout outs to women clothed in the sun, coming in from New Mexico. And yep, they will come out of the woodwork if you don't stand your ground. Yep, there, that's it right there. You have to learn how to stand your ground when you are dealing with bullies, narcissists, these sociopathic, psychopathic individuals. Because what they want are pushovers, low hanging fruit. Yep, narcissists are, yeah, punk rock girl writes. They are the most envious and jealous people I've ever encountered, which gives you a clue at the very least that you're dealing with someone very toxic. Absolutely. Yeah, when you see envy, dangerous, dangerous sign. If you're dealing with an envious person, because an envious person, besides betraying you, these people could take your life. It's very dangerous for you to commune or to be hanging around an envious person because they're not in a healthy state. They're not in a sane state. All right, shout outs to Jazz and Laughter. Good morning. Yes, solar lights. Right. When a narcissist hurts you, take your bags and go. Yep. Again, leave as safely as you can. That's the goal with a narcissist. As safely as you can, exit. Just call it a loss. Yep. Again, yeah, these are the people that will set you up. That is why you do not want these personality types around you. And baby girl writes, when a truly evil person dies, does their do they go to heaven or hell? Not gonna get like super deep into like reincarnation here, but energy is neither created nor destroyed. So where their soul goes, it really depends on their soul's level of development. But the energy is gonna be recycled. Yeah, so yeah, definitely today we're gonna talk about how to identify and break these trauma bonds and how to overall identify psychological manipulation. And let's quickly talk about how people how they end up in a narcissistic dysfunctional family system. So when it comes to the narcissistic dysfunctional system, oftentimes you'll see where most of the golden children end up narcissistic, right? So they lean to more of the red side of the fence. And then when it comes to the scapegoat or the lost child or the other children, whether they end up narcissists or enablers, it kind of varies. What you will see is in a narcissistic, dysfunctional family system. Where is my other marker? In a narcissistic family system, people kind of end up two ways. They either end up narcissistic or enablers, or what you may call codependent. So, luck of the draw, both of them end up codependent. One still has empathy, one is more narcissistic. And for those of you that have golden children siblings, you know that most of them end up egomaniacs. So yeah, that's the answer to why will two siblings in the same family not both be narcissists? It depends. So people end up again codependent coming out of this toxic household. Some people retain their empathy. Some people end up more narcissistic. But none of this is healthy. Yeah, so Jazz and Laughter writes, my family is like a, where did that comment just go? There you go. My family is like a narcissist cult. I'm the black sheep of the family, and I'm going to stay the black sheep. It's safer that way. Yep, that's what you will see oftentimes. Is that most of the people that are here, like in the comment section, we were the scapegoat, lost child, surrogate parent. Maybe we're the mascot, and you have to stay out of this family system because it's dysfunctional, right? The narcissist is dysfunctional, the enabler is dysfunctional, the golden child is dysfunctional, the scapegoat, the lost child, they're all dysfunctional family system roles. So to create a functional family system, you can't be playing any of these roles. Yep. So yeah, especially if you have the siblings, you'll see the difference just in behavioral patterns if you grew up with a sibling. And who was the golden child? How did they turn out? Who was the scapegoat? Who was the lost child, and how did they turn out, and so on. And Joy Marie writes that they seem completely insane to me. They cannot make solid adult decisions in life without consulting people. Yep. And yeah, what you get from this family system is dysfunction. What you oftentimes see is enmeshment. And if you're seeing enmeshment, then that means that you have emotionally immature people around that are not really they cannot make decisions on their own. So you'll see where they kind of have this group brain or group think, and you don't have individuals because they didn't individuate. And that is why it's a cult. The blind leading the blind. And hey there, shout outs to Chris Loves YouTube. Thanks for stopping in. So yeah, punk rock girl writes that narcissists seem very similar to the archons. So yeah, narcissists, archons, Wetico, Jezebel, Leviathan, and you use any name that you want. They're all the same things. And Happy Sky writes, I only date narcissists. No, know that while there are a lot of narcissists around or toxic people or emotionally immature people, if you're only dating narcissists, then you have to adjust your picker because you're picking the narcissist. Because as you heal, you shouldn't be having a lot of narcissists, toxic, or emotionally immature people around you. You should be repelling them. As you heal, I don't know where everybody is on their healing journey, but know that as you heal, you will repel narcissists, and narcissists won't want to be around you because you don't give them supply. So if a lot of narcissists are hanging around you, then that means that you're bleeding somewhere. You're giving out supplies somewhere. That is why they're surrounding you like a shark. Yeah, when it comes to narcissism, or why people end up narcissists, it's very simple. People end up narcissists because they grew up around narcissists. And it's the same reason why we came out with enabler tendencies, because we grew up around enablers. So, we take on the characteristics of the people that we grow up around. And it's just that there are certain apples that don't fall very far from the tree. Those are your narcissists. They didn't evolve out of the dysfunction. So, with that said, understand that while you may be a generational curse breaker, if you're listening to this live, know that everybody is not breaking the generational curses or the generational unconsciousness that they have in their bloodline. They're still unconscious, which means that it's the next generation or the generation after that that needs to fix it. Yeah, so Solar Lights writes that, it's goofy if you keep arguing with them because they need to grow up. So what you will see is you're wasting your time arguing or justifying yourself with one of these personality types because they don't care and they have arrested development. Just a reminder, y'all, if you're dealing with a pathological narcissist, they have arrested development. And because they have arrested development, then you cannot really expect them to act like a healthy adult because they're not healthy adults. Yeah, so Tarsarian writes, I'm journaling right now with what happened from my ex covert narc wife. Looking back, I let a massive amount of attacks happen to me. So, forgive yourself, as you heal, because what it is that we grew up, if you didn't have proper boundaries, if you were dealing with one of these personality types, is because you didn't learn how to create proper boundaries, which, we're going to talk about that here in today's live. So know that we had porous boundaries, meaning people were able to come in, and again, that is what we need to work on. But again, those boundaries, because what essentially happened is that we were groomed. If you go back to the narcissistic dysfunctional family system, if on this page, then you were most likely groomed into the scapegoat role or even the lost child role, which means that you did not have or you could not have proper boundaries in the first place, right? So because we didn't have proper boundaries in our youth, right? What happened is that we went into our adulthood with these porous boundaries again. And with these porous boundaries is how attackers or narcissists and these toxic people can come in. So what you will see is that healing is going to involve having proper boundaries, again, proper financial boundaries, mental boundaries, psychological boundaries, spiritual boundaries, and so on. But again, the root of this is coming from childhood trauma on our end, and that childhood trauma has to be addressed. So know that again, if you are breaking these generational cycles, do not assume that everybody is breaking their generational stuff that came through their bloodline. So you are the scapegoat that escaped, right? Or you are the lost child that got away. But know that there are some lost children that don't get away, or there are some scapegoats that they're still there enabling the narcissist, right? They're still there going back and forth trying to figure stuff out with the narcissist. And again, until they wake up, they're still in this toxic dynamic, still in victim abuser consciousness with the narcissist, still stuck in the 3D. Yeah, so yeah, if y'all are watching this live then and you're breaking these cycles, then just like Jazz and Laughter writes, then you are the apple that fell very far from the tree, because this is the dysfunctional family tree that again creates victims and abusers. Where we see a narcissist, right next to them is an enabler, right next to an enabler, right next to them is a narcissist. This is what we're working on here. Yep. What you'll see is that in these family systems, there is contention. There is sibling rivalry, right? So, some of you may not have close relationships with your siblings. All right. You're not close to the golden child sibling, and maybe the one that was spoiled, or just different, multiple siblings in your family. Because again, there's dysfunction everywhere in this family system. There's manipulation, there's lies, there's emotional immaturity, there's enmeshment. Nothing here is healthy. And Chris Loves YouTube writes, I knew something was wrong with my family. I thought mental illness, but never realized it was truly spiritual warfare until recently. Yep. And it's spiritual warfare, until we can truly see what we have been dealing with so that we can stop it. All right, so J Moshi writes that I did the ritual and got rid of the things that the narc gave me a week ago. Okay, so yeah, a week ago or so, I got a call from an enabler saying he has a bag of my things from the narc. Yeah, I don't. Again, whenever you're dealing with a narcissist, y'all, and you break out of that narcissistic entanglement, you will need to cut ties with enablers. All right. So if those stuff are not important to you, I would just tell that person to toss them. Anything that the narcissist wants to talk, the narcissist wants to talk to you, the narcissist wants to send you stuff, reject everything. Because normally what they're trying to do is they're using that as an open door to get back into your life somehow. Reject all advances from the narcissist, whether it's coming directly from the narcissist or enablers. Enablers are not your friends. Enablers are not your friends. Enablers are not your friends. A friend of your enemy is an enemy. So then the question that you have to ask is, why is this enabler so comfortable, right, going between that person and you? So again, there has to be some discernment added there. But do not accept any gifts from narcissists sending them through any enablers. Again, block all routes. Yep. So yeah, Lynch Mob writes that the psychopathic, malignant, narcopath X was upset that you're doing well. Yep. Narcissists hate that you do good in life. They hate that you're smiling. They hate that you are ascending. They hate that you're growing because they want to crush you. And you're dealing with a villain, people. Choose any villain in any movie, in any cartoon, in any series. That's what you were dealing with, a villain, an antagonist. And Agent Smith does not want Neo to do well in the Matrix. You're again, narcissists do not want good for you. And that is how you know that you should not be hanging around people with that caliber of personality. These people do not mean you any well. Yep. So yeah, Chris Love YouTube writes that the narc mom pitted your brother against you. So now there's sibling rivalry. Yep, that is generally how it happens. So when we're talking about the narcissistic dysfunctional family system, again, enabler parent, narcissistic parent, there eventually oftentimes is going to be some sibling rivalry, right? The siblings are fighting with each other. And again, oftentimes the parents are on this behavior, right? So Chris Love YouTube writes, my it's the brother, right? So the narcissist hates me, and that is because my malignant mama pitted us against each other when we were very young. All right. So in a healthy family system, you will see where the parental figures are, helping those children to love each other. But what you will get in the narcissistic dysfunctional family system again is manipulation. So now you have an enemy, your sibling is an enemy. That is what you will get from these family systems again. And that is why you have to protect yourself. And protecting yourself, again, people oftentimes means cutting these people off. Cutting them off. Again, going no contact or gray rocking if you have to talk to them. But again, you're going to have to keep your distance because it is a dysfunctional family system where people get exploited. Never forget that. It's an exploitative family system because it is dysfunctional. And this is why you have to safely leave, whatever that means for you. Use discernment. Safely leave these people alone and protect yourself. All right, so baby girl writes, how to heal from CPTSD and feelings of nausea when thinking about the abuse. Very good question about CPTSD. And let me bring up another slide. My CPTSD slide is right here. So know that complex, and let me switch it over. CPTSD, which stands for complex post-traumatic stress disorder, right? It's a complex form of PTSD. So it could be both symptoms, right? But the huge chunk of it is going to be complex post traumatic stress disorder. So you're going to be, hypervigilant, right? Insomnia, anxiety, depression, and like mood swings, right? Because your mood is going to be all over the place, right? Bodily aches and pains, memory loss, brain fog, right? Maybe other illnesses, pre-existing illnesses that you had started to get worse. So all of these, know that these are the effects of going through a spiritual warfare, right? The effect of going through a spiritual warfare is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Let's be clear that you were going through something very traumatic and it was happening over time, and that is what makes it complex. So forgive yourself as you heal and be patient with yourself. And think about this like, let's say you got attacked by a bear and, the bear scratched you up and it mauled you. So that physical wound is going to take some time to heal. And similarly, a lot of these wounds are psychic wounds, right? They're soul wounds, they're spiritual wounds. And similarly, it's going to take some time to heal. So be patient with yourself with the rumination, right? Be patient with yourself if you're having insomnia, or even maybe you're having spiritual attacks, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, right? Maybe you're going through a spiritual warfare right now, because the spiritual warfare is not just in the entanglement. You could experience warfare afterwards, right? Sleep paralysis, and so on. So know that these feelings of nausea, you're feeling all of that energy in your stomach, that's that anxiety. As you continue to address the trauma, all of these feelings should subside. And when I say address the trauma, know that to properly heal, oftentimes you will need to seek either a coach, a therapist, or a counselor. So, again, somebody that knows how to help people that went through childhood trauma, relationship trauma, and again, in or around codependence and narcissistic abuse. Because again, if you had a physical wound and you don't address the wound won't heal. Similarly, if we have soul wounds or psychic wounds or spiritual wounds, and you can't see the wound to get to it, you're going to need somebody to help you. So you can reach out to me via the narcdojo.com website to book a one-on-one session. Or if you want to consider joining the Master Your Energy group coaching program, or just again find somebody maybe local to you that can help you, because oftentimes, especially if you see that these anxiety symptoms are not healing, you need somebody to help you get to that deep level of somatic healing. Because what it is that your nervous system got dysregulated, right? So you're going to need someone to re-regulate your nervous system. So again, know that all of these symptoms are normal, but again, they should be subsiding as you address the trauma, right? The childhood trauma, the abandonment, the neglect, again, whatever neglect or abuse that happened, again, to cause that led us into these entanglements. Again, we have to go back to our childhoods. Again, narcissistic abuse is a lot of deep healing to really get to the core of this, right? Because there's a lot of shame and guilt and all of these negative energies. And what happens oftentimes is that we carry these negative energies in our stomachs, right? And that is why we're getting nausea, symptoms of IBS, digestive issues, and so on. Again, all of these are symptoms, people, of CPTSD. So again, be patient with yourself as you heal. But again, as you continue to properly address the trauma, these symptoms should subside. So the rumination should subside, the anxiety should subside, the memory loss, you will get back your sense of self again as you continue to address this trauma and heal. But again, unless trauma is addressed, there is no healing. Right? If you sweep something under the rug, there is no healing. So again, if needed, seek out to a good practitioner, a good therapist, a good coach, a good counselor, healer, sangoma, shaman, etc., that knows how to guide you through this healing experience. All right, so let me see. Yep. So, Lynch, yeah, yeah. Be very mindful of narcissists giving you gifts. Mm-mm. Again, anything that is linked to the narcissist, you tell me the narcissist had a favorite marker, I'm gonna tell you to toss that marker out. All right. Especially if the narcissist gave you things and you wear them, be mindful of if the narcissist gave you a necklace or a chain, and every day you're putting that chain around your neck. The narcissist gave you a belt as a gift, and you're wrapping that belt around your waist. Shoes, clothing. Again, get rid of anything that is charged when you are dealing with a narcissist, people, in that cleansing process. Again, this could be weeks, this could be days, it could be months. But get rid of things that are attached to these people, because a lot of these people, again, are possessed. All right. So Lynch Mob writes that the narcissist, Lynch Mob writes, she had given me a rose quartz and hid it under the bed. And 2 months after she left it, I moved it. And I swear to you that a crystal that is usually normally cold was very hot. Yeah. So again, people, who knows what these people are planting, or for what nefarious reasons they're doing these things for. But if narcissists are leaving the strange objects around your home, get rid of these things. All right. Because again, they may be planting them for their dark arts and evil magic. Yep. So yeah, I Starve Narcs, right? Writes that anytime you're connected to them, there will be no peace. There will be no peace because you cannot love a demon and a demon cannot love you back, people. You have to cut these people off and leave as safely as you can. As safely as you can. Disengage from the narcissist and all enablers. Tom writes that narcissism is being removed from the DSM-5. What does that mean for the future? So people, narcissists are unconscious people. Unconsciousness is not going anywhere. And this is why you shouldn't, I don't know if that's true or not, but this is why you shouldn't be tying yourself to clinical information, because it's a variable. Beware of anybody that is stuck at the bottom of the consciousness ladder. It doesn't matter what name you want to call them. Jezebel, Leviathan, Archons, NPCs, narcissists. Stay away from people that are stuck at the bottom of the consciousness ladder, because we are consciousness. And when you're able to discern the spirit of someone, then you know that you should not be communing with anybody that is stuck at the bottom of the consciousness ladder. Doesn't matter what names a clinician wants to give to them. Yeah, so coming out of the narcissistic entanglement, what we have is complex post traumatic stress disorder, and those symptoms may overlap with borderlines. But a personality disorder is, having a whole personality disorder is different from having complex post traumatic stress disorder. But if we could say that if somebody doesn't address their CPTSD symptoms, it could metastasize and get worsened into a personality disorder, sure. But again, with addressing your trauma, those CPTSD symptoms should be lessening. And in order to heal, you're going to need about 18 to 24 months to truly address the wound, the depth of the wound that we're talking about here. 18 to 24 months. Again, not to say that you won't experience any benefits before, but again, after you break free from that one narcissist, people, let's say it's like, it's that 6 month mark, that is good, but you still haven't addressed the childhood trauma that caused this in the first place. And in addressing your childhood trauma, that's going to take some time. So you will see where to properly heal, meaning you're getting to a space where you're attracting healthy people. You can, control your emotions. You know how to discern between a narcissist and a healthy person. That's going to take you a good 18 to 24 months in learning what you need to learn, unlearning other stuff, and so on. It's going to take time to properly heal. And Israel writes, if I'm a Christian, and the answer to that is no, not in any religion. So who am I? I am spirit governing a body with the access to tools, just like I mentioned in the videos on this channel. So if you're dealing with an enabler, enablers are dangerous because enablers are on the side of the narcissist. Why are enablers dangerous? Enablers are dangerous because they are on the side of the narcissist. Do not trust enablers. Do not trust narcissists. Enablers cooperate with narcissists. So Happy Sky writes, how do I feel about enablers? I don't like enablers and I don't like narcissists. I do not hang out with enablers. I do not hang out with narcissists. A friend of your enemy is an enemy of yours. So when you get rid of the narcissists, get rid of their enablers. Any news that you tell to an enabler, that enabler is going to bring it to the narcissist. People, that is how it works. And in order to, you have to step away from the dysfunction in this family because it's a dysfunctional family. And until those people go and heal, you can do the healing for them. So again, beware of accepting gifts from narcissists. Who knows what they're doing behind closed doors with those gifts that they're giving to you? No. And again, there are certain narcissist people that they're involved in sorcery. All right. You don't want to get into an agreement that you didn't agree to by wearing something that they gave to you or eating something that they gave to you. You shouldn't be breaking bread with narcissists. So once you figure out that someone is one, a toxic personality, again, do what you need to do to safely disengage. Safely disengage. That's always the goal. And Happy Sky writes that I think the narcissist hated me. I don't know why I gave him so much love. Narcissist people, you cannot love a narcissist, and a narcissist cannot love you back because they don't have love to give. Narcissists do not have love to give. They do not have love to give, and it's not personal. They do not have love to give because a demon doesn't have love to give. It's kind of like saying, you want to borrow $10,000 from me, and I'm going to say, hey, I don't have $10,000 to give to you. It's just, I don't have the money. So you cannot love a demon, and a demon cannot love you back. Demons are incapable of love, and you are incapable of loving a demon. Demons don't want love. What they want is subservience. And that is exactly why you need to understand what you're dealing with. Yep, and Paris, Dawson writes, they hate themselves. Yep. And because they hate themselves, then they have hate to give. So they have to hate you. And again, none of this is personal, even though you very well may be a targeted individual. But narcissists have hate to give. That is why they give hate. They have envy to give. That is why they give envy. They have connivery to give. That they give connivery. They have lies to give. That is why they give you lies. Narcissists are giving you exactly what they have to give to you. And exactly what they have to give to you is what you would get from someone that is stuck at the bottom of the consciousness ladder. Nothing more, nothing less. Do not add anything else to the equation. Narcissists are shallow personality types. Narcissists are shallow personality types. Do not add anything else to the equation. So love is a high vibration, way up there in the 500s. A narcissist can't give you love. They can't get to it. It doesn't exist. They're not in that dimension. And narcissists do not love themselves, everybody, because they dissociated. The entire disorder is born out of dissociation. That is why they created a maladaptive ego. So they're based in shame. So that you're dealing with someone with low self-esteem, pathologically low self-esteem at that. And they run from facing this, and they end up at grandiose pride. And pride comes right before the fall. They fall right back down to shame. And again, that's the disorder. And shout outs to Ellie Wynn for stepping in. So yeah, when you're dealing with one of these personality types, they don't want your love because they cannot receive it. What they want from you is to control you. They're stuck in suffering, so you're going to be stuck in suffering with them. That's the vibration. That's the dimension. And yeah, Paris Dodson writes, I remember lying and stealing from my family as a kid, and my mom checked it quickly. Yep. And that's a good example there in that, there are certain behaviors you do when you're a child and you're supposed to grow out of it. Now, the difference is narcissists did not grow out of their behavior. That is why it's arrested development. So they're still going to lie and steal and cheat today because, again, they have arrested development and they've been practicing that behavior for such a long time where now it's just a habit to them. So remember that everything is a vibration, and that is that is why it is important that you learn how to discern the different spirits that are around you. Because you cannot expect a malevolent spirit to behave in a benevolent way. You cannot expect a malevolent spirit to behave in a benevolent way. You cannot expect an evil spirit to want to do good. They don't want to do it. They want to do evil. because it's an evil spirit. And that is what you were dealing with if you were dealing with a pathological narcissist. And Rodeo Rose writes, my clears are getting stronger. I am not sure how to navigate them. So that's a good sign. It is good that your spiritual senses, your telepathic abilities, your psychic abilities are growing. So what you do now is you trust. Trust your intuition, trust your gut, trust your clears. So if you get a feeling that you shouldn't drive down a particular street, do not drive down that street. Trust your intuition, trust the clears. Because it is in you trusting those gifts, again, kind of like a muscle, you're going to build that muscle. If you get a dream and the dream is warning you about someone, trust the dream. Or maybe you're a seer. So trust your dreams, trust your visions, trust your gut. Trust those spiritual instincts. Because your clears are spirits. And as you continue to trust that spirit, it continues to grow because that is where you're directing your energy. And sorry for your loss, baby girl. Yeah, when you're dealing with a narcissist, the unfortunate reality, y'all, is people can lose their lives and they deceive a lot of people. And Punk Rock Girl writes, they plot and plan how to destroy you with whomever they are cheating on you with behind your back while wearing a mask of caring about you. To me, that's the most evil thing that they did. Yep. That is how you know that you dated a demon in disguise. Because, they're going to smile in your face when they're doing it, and they're going to expect you to put up with the behavior. Because when you are dealing with a pathological narcissist, you are dealing with a deceiving, mocking spirit. And what you will see is they will deceive you, they will lie to you. And then when you're catching on, or when, maybe it goes over your head, you're going to see where they're going to start to mock you. And they're going to mock you for them deceiving you. That is the twisted nature of a pathological narcissist. And you're dealing with a trickster spirit. You're dealing with a trickster spirit. Yes, a global rights. One of them told me to keep my friends close and my enemies closer. No. Yeah, I would not recommend that you're hanging out with your enemies. The people that are around you should be supportive, loving, kind, compassionate, empathetic people, just like yourself. So now is the time for you to commune with people that are similar to you. They're operating at a similar vibration because you're in a similar dimension, you're in a similar soul group, or they're equally yoked to you. That is what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a good friend, intimate relationship, business relationship, again, make sure that that person is similar to you, similar character, similar morals, similar values. That is how you can grow with somebody. And global rights, finding a trusted friend to speak to is difficult. Yep, and it definitely can be that way. So know that if you're looking for a good friend, that you're looking for a minority, right? A good friend is a minority. So right off the bat, you're not looking for most people. So whoever you want as a friend, again, are going to be very similar to you. So they're going to have similar morals, similar character, similar values. But when it comes to people's character, you will see that over time, right? So over time, you will see where their actions match up with their words. And again, not to say that anybody is perfect, right? But over time, you will see somebody's character, because over time you'll see if somebody's shady. Over time you'll see if over time there are people that wear masks, versus if they're actually genuine people. But know that if you're in the market for a friend, you want friendship, then that is what you should focus your energy on. And again, if it's that important for you to, and that is what you want to manifest, you can manifest a great friend, if that is what you truly wanted. It's just you have to be clear on what you're actually looking for. Or they want to manifest a friend, a car, a new relationship, all of that is possible. You just have to be clear. Because good people just like you are out there looking for good people just like you. Seek and you will find. Yes, yeah, Eliwin writes, observe them in different situations and you will see how they treat others. Yep. So over time, you're going to see the behavior. Because again, we all have a pattern, we all have a signature. So eventually, you're going to see if, that person, is someone that you would call a friend, or, maybe they're just an enemy in disguise. It's going to take a little bit of time, it's going to take some discernment. And that's really the key, discernment. You should always be discerning the spirit of the individuals that you are dealing with. Because if you dated a demon in disguise, then there were certain things that you were not able to see. That is why you have to make sure that you see them now. Because the demon may come in a different form, right? It may come in a different form, but it's the same entity. Same entity, right? But a slightly different form. It's not about the female narcissist or the male narcissist, because narcissism is a spirit. Narcissism is a spirit. That is why you have to learn to discern the spirit that you're dealing with. Because narcissists are low vibrational spirits and they have a pattern. They have a pattern. Global rights, will ChatGPT replace therapists? Not anytime soon. So therapy serves its place. So yeah, there are certain things that ChatGPT can, delve deep within you to help. You're still gonna need a therapist, a coach, a counselor, somatic practitioners, healers, etc., etc., etc. So ChatGPT, as a tool, helps with certain cognitive things, right? But especially with somatic healing, which, going through narcissistic abuse, you're going to need somatic healing, which is healing at the body level to re-regulate your nervous system, your breathing and all of that. Yeah, ChatGPT is not really built for that level of work. So again, useful tool, but there still has to be done work done outside of therapy and outside of ChatGPT. Because again, therapy also isn't everything. Meaning the therapist is going to do their best, but there's still work that there's spiritual work, for example, that you may not get in therapy that you have to do outside. And I Starve Narcs writes, patterns don't lie, and these demons cannot help but to bleed all over others. Yeah, they eventually tell on themselves. Eventually, you'll see the pattern, everybody. You'll see the lies. You'll see the manipulation. You'll eventually, again, it's covert, but you'll eventually see the covert triangulation tactics. You'll see the jealousy. You'll see the microaggressions on their face. You will see the envy. You will see their grandiosity in that they're always seeking attention. Eventually, again, a trickster spirit must show itself. Eventually, again, a trickster spirit must show itself. Give it time. And again, use your discerning eye. Give it time. They have to show themselves. Yep. So yeah, Gia writes, I was dealing with a trickster spirit for 7 years, and he sent me a GIF or GIF with the trickster after we broke up. Yep. And again, if you're dealing with a trickster spirit, y'all, a trickster spirit is also a mocking spirit. And I was mentioning it before, where you're dealing with a spirit where it will deceive you and then it will start mocking you afterwards. Because it really doesn't like you. Because again, it's a trickster spirit. And in this example, again, we're talking about evil spirits. Because pathological narcissists are possessed by malevolent entities. So the trickster spirit doesn't like you. It likes toying with you like a cat likes to toy with a rat, but it doesn't like you. So after it toys with you, then you will see where it starts to mock you. So they will show their hands. They'll send you a picture to kind of sometimes divulge who they are. But again, it's a trickster spirit. Use any language that makes sense, arms, etc. That is what you were dealing with. Dealing with. Yep, so yeah, Gia writes, we must discern who and what we have next to us. Discernment, discern the spirit. Discern the spirit, because again, if you think, you may think that you're over there dealing with a benevolent spirit and it's a kind-hearted spirit and it's a demon. It's an evil spirit that does not mean you any good. So just like I mentioned before, you should not expect benevolence from a malevolent spirit. Do not expect goodness from a demonic creature. It doesn't have goodness to give to you. It comes to deceive. And it comes to put you in that deathly soul tie. Because demons ain't got no soul. And this is why we lose ourselves or we lose our souls in these entanglements, because it's all being poured into a black hole. Because you're dealing with a malevolent spirit that hates light, which means that every ounce of light that you pour into that relationship is going to evaporate. Because demons cannot receive your light, they cannot receive your love. What they want is subservience. Yep. So yeah, we will repeat the lessons until we have learned them. So until you can truly discern the spirit that you're dealing with, somebody's name is Jack, somebody's name is Mark, somebody's name is Matthew, and it's like they're all operated by the same spirit. So the form changed, but it's the same spirit because you weren't discerning the spirit of the individual that you're dealing with. Because again, they have a pattern. They have a pathology, and a pathology is patterned dysfunctional behavior. Patterned dysfunctional behavior. Yeah, eventually the mask will slip, and you will see that you're dealing with a mocking spirit, and you will eventually see that they do not like you. They do not like you, and again, they don't have love to give. You're dealing with a cold, callous spirit, is what you are dealing with. Cold and callous. Because again, that is the vibration that that these creatures operate in. So the key really is to beware of anyone that you see that is too close to the bottom of the consciousness ladder. That is what all of the creatures have in common. They are too close to the bottom of the consciousness ladder, and that is why you should stay away from them. As at the bottom of the consciousness ladder is where you find suffering. That is why any relationship that you get into with them will cause suffering. Suffering is what you will get. But that is the dimension that they're stuck in. Because again, life is spiritual, and you have to discern the spirit. Narcissists are low vibrational spirits. So when you are able to properly discern the spirit, again, you won't care too much about what clinical diagnosis someone has. You just are going to be discerning whether they're conscious or unconscious in nature. Yeah. So yeah, Elwin writes, no love, cold, callous, mean, dominating, and manipulative. All of those are all negative energies that you will find at the bottom of the consciousness ladder. That's why you cannot love a demon and a demon cannot love you back. You cannot love a hateful spirit. Narcissists hate love. They love hate. You cannot grow with a personality type like that. Yeah, so Punk Rock Girl writes that they're envious and jealous of you and they hate you. And that's one of their biggest secrets. So yeah, oftentimes the covert vulnerable narcissist especially likes to come on sugary sweet, and oh, they're that is poor little thing, or they come on really friendly, but eventually you will see that they do not like you. And it was all a pretense, because that was a mask. That's the love bomb when they come on sugary sweet. Eventually you're gonna see where you're dealing with a cold, callous, and manipulative person. Eventually you will see it. Because again, the mask has to slip. That is why you should be patient when you are discerning, because they can't fake it forever. They can't fake it forever. They're being inauthentic. So again, you will eventually see what is behind that veil. Eventually you will see it. All right, so Gia writes, I hope I learned my lesson. The reason why I went through this because I was attached to money, looks, ideals, and perceived beliefs. Yep. So what you will see as you heal from narcissistic abuse, as you have your ego death, right? When you have that ego death, you're gonna be letting go of your, your materialness, your attachment to material goods, because in the ego death, then the spirit has enough energy to awaken. And that's the spiritual awakening or the dark night of the soul. It's when you open up to your true spiritual nature and understanding that you are a multidimensional being. So global writes, my love cannot heal them. Now they would have to want to receive love within their hearts. So yeah, people, narcissists need multiple rounds of deliverance, but again, that does not guarantee that that's going to solve the issue. And again, that is why you need to safely leave. Find a healthy, stable, sentient person instead. And our global writes, it's surreal to know that my love has limitations of healing dark souls. And the reason for this, again, is because these people were not open to love, right? And if they're not open to love, then your love or anything else is not really gonna help until they're open to it, right? Because they have free will, and they can use their free will to do whatever they want, and they're in a state where they hate love, and they love hate, and that is why there's light and then there is dark, demons and angels. Again, top of the consciousness ladder, bottom of the consciousness ladder, and again, life is spiritual, and there's that line in the sand. So until they can cross that threshold, they cannot receive love because their hearts are closed. That heart chakra in the fourth dimension is locked off. And if their hearts are locked off, then there's nothing that they won't any light in. Yeah, you definitely have to look out for what these people are sending you. So let me see here. Let me see that comment. So yeah, Gia writes that you can tell by what interests them. So a guy that I used to date would send me videos of people falling and laughing. Yeah, narcissists like, again, that's that sadism in the narcissist, y'all. That's that sadistic nature of the narcissist. So they like seeing when people get hurt. And global rights, my narc used to send me alligators and videos of sharks eating people. It's that sadism. That's what you're seeing come out, where after a while, if somebody likes pain and likes inflicting pain on people and they're addicted to doing that, there's not much turning back after that. They're gone. So after a while, they're seeking out inflicting pain on others. And oftentimes a lot of us were dealing with the sadistic, malignant, covert narcissist, the demon from hell. That's what you were dealing with. You were dealing with the devil, a devil, a devil's minion, archons, leviathan, python. Again, use any name you want. That is what you were dealing with. And Charlene writes, why did I feel this strong emotion for him? It felt like love or just a strong bond. Yeah, that right there that you were feeling is that trauma bond. It's that trauma bond is what you were feeling. And you can think of a trauma bond as a type of Stockholm syndrome. You can think of a trauma bond as a type of Stockholm syndrome. And a trauma bond essentially is a soul tie to an abuser. And the reason why you felt those emotions was because it was a familiar energy, because it's a familiar spirit that came from your family. And here's how you can quickly test people. For the narcissist that you were entangled with, look at your parents or caregivers and see which of your parents or caregivers was the narcissist similar to. So again, if you want to figure out why the narcissist felt so familiar, look at your family system. Look at the soil that you were planted in. Which of your parents or caregivers, or a combination of their personality, was the narcissist in your life most similar to? And that is why you'll understand why they felt familiar, because it's a familiar spirit. It was a similar energetic vibration. You were used to it. We were used to being neglected. We were used to being abandoned. We were used to being pushed to the side. And that is why the narcissist felt familiar in the trauma bond, because we were already traumatized. And shout outs to Pap Master Ost. Thank you for checking in. And Chris Love YouTube, right? Shika, what do you say to people that say we should pity narcissists because they can't help what they are? What you do with narcissists is you have proper boundaries. So, pity is an emotion. So you could feel whatever emotion you want. It's not the emotion that's the issue. What it is you do not break that firm boundary that you have in wanting to go over there to help a narcissist. Because wanting to go help a narcissist is just like you watching National Geographic or the Discovery Channel and you see a gazelle trying to help a lion. You don't help predators. Pity them if you want, or feel whatever emotion that you want, right? But do not, again, break those firm boundaries that you must have when you're dealing with narcissists. Again, you're dealing with a predatory personality type, which means that you need to give them distance. So what you need to give pathological narcissists are firm boundaries, rock solid boundaries. You see a narcissist moving left, keep east. You see them moving left, keep right. Go in the opposite direction of a narcissist. And again, know that narcissists know what they're doing, even though they cannot control themselves. So do they know that they're cheating on you? Yes, they know that they're cheating on you. Of course, they know that they're cheating on you, people. Do they know that they lied to you? Yes, they know that they lied to you, and lying also comes second nature to them. So again, they're not knowledge impaired. What they are is empathy impaired. So when you're dealing with an empathy impaired individual, you give them a wide berth. You stay away from them. You let them go and abuse somebody else because they must abuse somebody else. So, there are many emotions that may pop up if you're dealing with a narcissist. But again, firm boundaries, no contact if you have no business with these people, or gray rock until you can go no contact. Again, protect yourself in whatever way that makes sense depending on your particular situation. But yeah, just know that again, you cannot commune with a pathological narcissist because they do not want your communion. Narcissists don't want to work with you. They want to step on your neck and they want you to allow it. They want you to be a doormat and they want you to allow it. Yep. So the trauma bond is a type of glamour magic, right? It's a type of spell that the narcissist puts on you in those early days so that you think you're dealing with a human being. It's demonic magic. Yep, say Edwin writes, have the least amount of contact on every level of existence. Yep, you need to cut the supply with narcissists again, depending on the narcissist in your life. So again, there may be times where you are separating. So again, go gray rock. But after that, if you don't have any business talking to the narcissist, again, block them. Not delete, because you need the number to delete, to block, right? But block the narcissist. Narcissists should not be able to send you a text message and you're going back and forth with them if you do not need to. Right? This is where the firm boundaries come in. You cannot love a demon cannot love you back. They don't have love to give. What they want is your subservience. So they're going to try to attack you at every single chance that they can, because it's a predator. What you're dealing with is a predator. It doesn't matter how much they smile. And yep, you are dealing with people that are toying with you. They're toying with your mind, toying with your emotions. Shout outs to Angela Granger. Yeah, you are dealing with people that are playing with you. And again, you're dealing with people with arrested development. So this is their behavior. But when I say arrested development here, just know that this means that you're dealing with a cold, callous personality that is not very refined. And that is what makes them dangerous. So you don't play games with narcissists. What you do is you safely leave. Go through divorce. Maybe you have lawyers. You're battling things out. But after that, you wipe your hands clean from these people and move on with your life. Because these people shouldn't be taking so much time away from you, and it's that time that you cannot get back. People, it's that time that you cannot get back with these people. Can I get back that time? So, use that time to learn the lessons. But after you learn the lessons, safely leave. Safely leave, however you can. Say, I starve narcs, writes a good comment here. So you let them do what they want as long as they're not doing it with you. That's it right there, people. Let the narcissist do what they want as long as they're not doing it with you. So let the narcissist cheat in peace. I've said this in videos. Let the narcissist cheat in peace. Otherwise, you're just going to cheat on you. Let the narcissist lie in peace. Let them go lie with somebody else. Let them go connive somebody else. Let them go gaslight somebody else. Because narcissists, again, exist in victim abuser consciousness. You only have a victim abuser type of dynamic with them. So let them go. Let them go abuse somebody else. And that's the unfortunate reality, is that they must abuse someone. So let them go, let them go run off with the new supply or whatever else that they're doing. Yes, a good comment there by baby girl. The hardest thing is hoping they'll change and realizing they never loved you, but the truth sets us free. And that's the truth. It's that these people are incapable of love. It is not that you're not lovable. All right. Narcissists are incapable of loving themselves and loving other people. It is not that you are unlovable. It's that they don't have love to give. They don't have love to give. Yeah, so Gia writes that I told people that I saw the hat man standing next to him. Yeah, so yeah, if you're seeing the hat man, people, that's an entity. And that is how you know that you were dating a demon in disguise. Now, that entity is the entity or entities, plural, or spirits that the narcissists are in allegiance with. So when you're seeing shadow figures, strange forms, that is what you're dealing with. What you're dealing with is spiritual warfare because life is spiritual. It's important that you are able to see that line in the sand. See the line in the sand. Yin and yang. There's a line in the sand. And vampires cannot step into the light. That is why narcissists are not going to follow you into the new revolution. So it is important that you learn to discern what level is that spirit coming from. Discernment. Is it a low vibrational spirit? How is it a manipulative spirit? Or are they using their minds? Are they toying with people's emotions? These are the things that you have to think about. So Punk Rock Girl writes that I love your lives and I appreciate you talking about the demonic spiritual side of narcissism. There's not that many that will discuss this, and it is crucial to understanding who they really are. And I agree. And that is why I created this channel in the first place, because I saw where that was a huge missing element, right? Getting to the true spiritual underpinnings of what you are dealing with. Because it is important that you learn that you're dealing with an evil spirit. There's no amount of love that you can give to an evil spirit. It's an evil spirit. It's an evil spirit. So, I hope everybody appreciates there's so many videos here, over 800 videos again. So, especially for people that are new coming in, newer subscribers, consider watching the older videos. Worst case, know that you can book a session with me on the narcdojo.com website, or you can check out the Ascension Vault, and I've set it to a one-time payment if you want access to the videos. One-time payment, you get all of those videos to watch ad-free, and again, outside of the YouTube platform. But it is important that you understand, again, the spiritual underpinnings, because otherwise you're going to end up in another relationship. Could be an intimate relationship, could even be a friendship. So the person's body changed, but you're dealing with the same spirit, because you didn't learn how to properly discern the spirit of the people that you're interacting with. And that is how deep narcissistic abuse goes, because again, oftentimes we're dealing with a familiar spirit. And it's there may be difficulties in discerning, but again, with time you can discern exactly what you're dealing with. So Angela writes, I've been with this narcissist for 9 years. They only make the adjustments they want to make, and then they turn mean again as soon as they get mad about any little thing. Yeah. So what you just described is the personality disorder. All right. So again, this is an ingrained pattern since your childhood years. You're dealing with someone with arrested development. So you're going to see where they'll throw tantrums. Again, just like a toddler, but you're not dealing with a toddler because, again, that is the level of psychological issues that these people have. That is why, again, safely protect yourself, for whatever that means, depending on the situation that you're actually in. So what you will see with abusers is that, again, they'll love bomb and they will devalue. So sometimes they're nice, sometimes they're nasty, sometimes they're nice, sometimes they're nasty. And that is that hot and cold behavior that you have to look out for. That hot and cold behavior is manipulation. Yeah, so whenever you're dealing with a narcissist, it's all about supply, nothing more, nothing less. Nothing more, nothing less when you're dealing with a narcissist. Because what you're dealing with is an energy vampire. That's it. So when we talk about breaking into the new revolution is ascension. It is seeing what is in front of your face. And it's also seeing with your spiritual eyes. So the new revolution is stepping into the fourth dimension or higher. So what you will see is after time, as you properly heal, you shouldn't be dealing with narcissists. You shouldn't be dealing with constant spiritual warfare. Not back to back to back to back. You should be able to discern the spirits that are coming into your immediate vicinity, so that if it's a negative spirit or whatever, you should they shouldn't attach to you within the new revolution. Because you will repel narcissists. Again, as you heal, you will repel narcissists. They will know that you know, and they'll most times want to leave you alone. Yeah, so know that it's completely normal to feel like you're crazy, and why you feel like you're crazy is because you're dealing with someone that is putting you in a crazy making state, right? Know that pathological narcissism is a type of functional lunacy, so they have psychological issues. So if you're dealing with someone with these severe psychological issues, then you start to feel crazy because you're hanging around a crazy person. So know that that's like one of the main things that most of us probably felt. We felt like we were losing our minds because we were going around in circles with someone that was losing their minds. And that is why we have to increase our discerning abilities. Because again, we're all spiritual beings having a physical experience. So discern the spirit of the people that are around you. The Pap Master Ost writes, if you find a narcissist, charge them, charge them for toilet paper, etc. They will flee. Yeah. Narcissist people, they don't want to really give anything. So they come to take. So when they see that you don't have anything to give them and you're actually charging them for stuff, they don't want to be around you. Narcissists like people that they can take from. Narcissists like enablers. Narcissists like who? Enablers. Narcissists like people that enable their bad behavior, because wherever you see a narcissist, right next to them must be an enabler. Someone that is enabling that toxic behavior. So if you want to get rid of narcissists, here's what you do. Don't be an enabler. Right off the bat, you're going to be repelling narcissists because they see that you don't have, I don't have anything to give narcissists. And I'll use this channel as an example, right? You don't see a lot of narcissists hanging out in the NarcDojo like comment section, because narcissists, there's nothing here for them to get, right? NarcDojo is not a place for narcissists to congregate. So they don't come. And every now and then I'll see like a straggler narcissist, and if they pop off too much in the comments, I'll block them. But generally speaking, again, if you don't have anything to give a narcissist, they leave you alone and they go find somebody that can give them that energy. And that is why it is important that you learn to master your energy, right? Understand your vibrations again. Narcissists cannot step into the light. So if you are standing in the light and if you know how to maintain your frame, they have to leave. Narcissists do not like healthy people with proper boundaries. When you say no, you actually mean no. They hate healthy people with proper boundaries because narcissists cannot step into the light. There's a barrier. What was happening before was that we were in victim abuser consciousness, going back and forth with the narcissist. But again, healing means stepping into the new revolution. It means stepping into the fourth dimension or higher. Vampires cannot step into the light. That is why, as you ascend, the narcissist had to break away. They had to flee. They had to flee. They could not step into the new revolution because vampires cannot step into the light. Narcissists are just going to run off to find somebody else to abuse because that's the dimension that they are stuck in. They're stuck in suffering. See, Akezia writes, I dealt with that demon from my mom, so I knew it when I seen it in my exes. Yep, it's a familiar spirit. That's the spiritual warfare. It's a familiar spirit. And who knows how long these spirits were attached to your bloodline. Yep. So yeah, your boundaries are the repellent. Again, narcissists come to feed, they come to take, they come to take your time. So don't give them your time. Block them. Right? Do not give them your energy. That is why you have to gray rock, neutralize your energy. They're asking you a question, just give them one word answers. Let's say it's a narcissist at work and they're asking, how did your weekend go? It was okay. Just like that. Cut your energy, cut the supply. Narcissists want your attention. Do not give them your attention. They want your money. Do not give them your money. They get into a problem. Do not help them solve the problem. Cut your energy. Do not help a predator. Narcissists are predatory personalities. That is what you're dealing with. So don't help predators. Again, wherever you see a narcissist, there has to be an enabler. So don't be an enabler. Be an scapegoat. Step out of the equation because, again, narcissists cannot step into the light. It's impossible. They will explode. So, yeah, we're going to be wrapping up here by 12 noon. So we've been here for, 1 hour, 56 minutes so far. So this was another live. This is the third live again. So for anybody that wants to rewatch the previous lives, just check the live tab on YouTube. There are two previous lives that was done before this one. And at any time, if you want someone to talk to, go ahead and check out the narcdojo.com website where you can simply book a one-on-one clarity call where you can tell me, specifically what is happening and, I can help you to clear up just whatever is happening, spiritual warfare, childhood emotional trauma, somatic healing, spiritual warfare, general subjects on narcissism and so on. So know that again, that in order to properly heal from narcissistic abuse, there has to be time spent in addressing your childhood trauma. All right, you're gonna, again, a good bit of this you may be able to do with yourself, but I always recommend seeking a professional that knows how to help you to heal from this, right? A great therapist is a great asset. A great counselor is a great asset. A great coach is a great asset. But know that it oftentimes takes, at minimum, again, minimum, 18 to 24 months to really get to that level of addressing that trauma. Because again, it's coming from your childhood upbringing. So you have to look into, what was your foundation? right? You'll have to look into seeing those instances of neglect, abandonment, abuse, physical abuse, emotional neglect, again, whatever happened that caused us to have this fracture in our personality, that these narcissists could come in. So it takes time to properly heal from narcissistic abuse, because not only are you leaving that toxic relationship, after you leave that toxic relationship and that kind of settles down, then you have to do that deep healing shadow work and inner child work, where you have to delve deep and go very deep to find these cracks in our foundation. So again, if you need help, go ahead and book a one-on-one session on the narcdojo.com website. There is also the Master Your Energy annual group coaching program. That's an entire annual program that is geared at helping you to, again, properly heal and ascend and live the life that you truly want. So if you want to master the fundamentals of personal development and success while you're in a group form, then the Master Your Energy group coaching program would be a good alternative for you. And then besides that, if you haven't already, again, check the NARC 101 course. Again, really good course, free course, beginner course that covers most of what I talk about on the YouTube channel. But I break it down in 3 hours of exactly what you need to know. And then there are assignments at the end of each module. And then outside of that, if you want access to the videos that you see here on YouTube, you can check that out in our NarcDojo vault, where you can access those pre-released and also ad-free. So again, take some time, y'all, to properly heal, and also take some time to properly discern the spirit that you're interacting with. Again, it's always discern, and discernment is a muscle. So practice building the muscle. Trust your intuition. Trust your gut feeling. Trust the different clears that you have. Trust your spiritual instincts. Trust your gut instincts, because that is what is saving you. That is what saved you from this toxic entanglement. And yeah, shout outs to Pap Master Ost. I appreciate you also for being here. Thank you so much. And yeah, shout outs to everybody, because people are coming in from different time zones, Missouri, West Virginia, East Coast, West Coast, the Central Time. So thank you all for stopping in. And again, keep posted on the page. I'll let you know when the next live session is. So we've done 2 previous lives before, one on a Tuesday, one was on a Wednesday, and then today is the first like Saturday live. And just again, stay tuned to see when I'll be going live, so that you can see if it works with your time zone. And worst case scenario, again, you can rewatch these lives, because all of them are recorded on YouTube. Yeah, so good message there from Pat Master Ost. Again, everybody stay vigilant and guard your hearts. So again, narcissists are always hunting. It's just you have to learn how to discern to protect yourselves. To discern the spirit, again, don't give that spirit any energy. Narcissists feed on chi, so don't give them your energy. So, if you're dealing with one of these shapeshifters, again, safely make your exit. Safely make your exit if you're dealing with one of these personality types. All right, good people. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Ensure that you're liking these videos on the channel. Ensure that you're subscribed if you haven't already subscribed. And as always, leave comments on the various videos. I'll try to get back to you ASAP. And again, whether you need a one-on-one coaching session, or if you're considering joining our group mentorship program, again, all of those resources are available on the narcdojo.com website. Again, if you need help more than what I can provide here on YouTube. All right, good people, take very good care of yourselves. Continue to love yourselves and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And I'll see you in the next video.